What if everything Seth Rollins built was never really his to begin with? Think about that for a second. The vision, the faction he handpicked, the allies he trusted with his career, with his title, with his legacy. What if, from the very first day, Seth Rollins wasn't building a dynasty, he was building a trap? And what if the most dangerous part of that trap is that he walked right into it himself? Because here's what nobody is talking about. Everyone is focused on Bron Breakker winning at Backlash. Everyone's losing their mind over Paul Heyman raising another man's hand. But if you actually slow down, go back, and watch the timeline, something doesn't add up. And when things don't add up in WWE, there's always someone pulling strings behind the curtain. Tonight, we're going deep. We're going places the mainstream wrestling media refuses to go. And by the time this video is over, you are going to look at Seth Rollins, the man, the visionary, the so-called architect, completely differently. Because the question isn't whether Seth Rollins got betrayed. The question is, did he sabotage the vision on purpose? And if he did, who told him to? Stay with me, because this gets dark. Let's rewind to the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 41. Seth Rollins has just pulled off one of the most jaw-dropping moments in recent WWE history, aligning himself with Paul Heyman at the Showcase of the Immortals, turning the entire wrestling world upside down. And then, almost immediately, he recruits Bron Breakker, the young lion, the next big thing, the guy with the jaw of a superhero and the moveset of a freight train. Seth brings him in close, then Bronson Reed. The vision is born. And for months, it works. It works beautifully. Rollins cashes in Money in the Bank to steal the World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk at SummerSlam 2025. The vision is at its absolute peak. Seth is standing on top of the mountain, title in hand, Heyman whispering in his ear, Breakker and Reed flanking him like bodyguards from another dimension. But here's where things get interesting. Crown Jewel 2025. Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes in Australia. And during that match, a match that Rollins was supposed to win, something goes wrong. A botched coast-to-coast headbutt, a shoulder injury so severe it requires surgery. And just like that, the World Heavyweight Champion is finished, sidelined, gone. Now here's the question nobody asked loud enough. Was that injury really an accident? Or was Seth, already knowing what was coming, subconsciously, or maybe even consciously, checked out? Because look at what happened next. The very next episode of Raw, October 13th, 2025. Bron Breakker doesn't wait. He doesn't hold a meeting. He doesn't negotiate. He just spears Seth Rollins out of nowhere. Cold, calculated, zero hesitation. And Bronson Reed joins in. And then, Paul Heyman, the man Seth brought into the vision, straightens his tie, looks down at Rollins lying broken on the mat, and walks away with them. Now ask yourself this. That kind of betrayal doesn't happen overnight. That kind of coordinated backstab takes weeks of planning, weeks of private conversations, weeks of someone working behind the scenes to convince Breakker, convince Reed, and convince the most manipulative manager in the history of professional wrestling to flip sides. So who was doing that convincing? And here's the part that will blow your mind. What if Rollins already knew?
What if he saw it coming and didn't stop it because he had his own plan forming in the shadows? Because what does Seth Rollins do after being written off television? He doesn't disappear. He doesn't go quiet. He puts on a hoodie and becomes a masked attacker. He infiltrates SmackDown. He costs Bron Breakker his Royal Rumble spot. He moves in the dark, targeting the vision from the inside out, piece by piece, methodically, patiently. That's not a man who got blindsided. That's a man who was already 3 moves ahead. That's a chess player who sacrificed his own king to see who would make a move on the board. And that brings us to the figure at the center of all of this, Paul Heyman. People keep treating Heyman's role like it's simple, like he just saw an opportunity and took it. But Paul Heyman has never done anything simple in his entire life. This is the man who managed Brock Lesnar for 2 decades. The man who whispered Roman Reigns into the greatest villain the WWE has ever seen. You think Paul Heyman stumbled into the vision by accident? You think he joined Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 41 on a whim? Paul Heyman does not make moves without a blueprint. And right now, that blueprint has Rollins' fingerprints all over it, and a second set of prints that we haven't identified yet. Think about Bron Breakker's own words before Backlash. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, that he always felt like Seth was eventually going to pull the rug on him. Always felt it. That's not the instinct of a betrayed man. That's the instinct of someone who was warned. Someone told Breakker that Rollins couldn't be trusted. Someone planted that seed long before October. And now Breakker has Austin Theory and Logan Paul by his side. Two men who, let's be honest, would never organically end up in the same orbit as Bron Breakker without a very specific invitation. Logan Paul. Let that sit for a moment. The man with the most reach outside of WWE. The man with resources, with cameras, with a platform that makes WWE executives salivate. And he's now wearing tag gold inside the Vision? Was that Paul Heyman's idea? Or was it someone else's?
This is about legacy. This is about proving that nobody in WWE history has played the game at a higher level than Seth Rollins. Not Triple H. Not CM Punk. Not Cody Rhodes. Not even Roman Reigns. Because all of those men built legacies through brute force, through passion, through sheer willpower. Seth Rollins built his through something scarier. Intelligence. The architect. That's what they called him in the Shield days. And an architect doesn't just design beautiful buildings. An architect also knows exactly where to plant the explosives when it's time to tear one down. The Vision is crumbling. Bron Breakker won at Backlash, but that win has a shelf life. The Street Profits are already circling Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Cracks are appearing. And somewhere in that chaos, Seth Rollins is sitting in the shadows, watching it all fall apart, waiting for exactly the right moment to walk back through the wreckage and claim everything that was always his. This story is far from over. And honestly, it might be the greatest long con in WWE history. If you made it this far, you already know this channel doesn't do surface level analysis. We go deep. We go where the story really lives. And if you want to be here when this whole thing explodes, and it will explode, make sure you subscribe to WrestleCore right now. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And if this video opened your eyes to something, drop a comment below. Tell me, do you think Seth Rollins sabotaged the Vision on purpose, or was he a genuine victim? Let's talk about it. Like this video if you want more deep dives like this one. Share it with every wrestling fan you know. Because the truth about Seth Rollins isn't in the highlights. It's in the spaces between. And we're just getting started.